Welcome back to Forza Horizon 6. Last month was the FH6 gameplay reveal that we got in January, and ever since that news broke last month, the developers have kind of been dropping little nuggets of information here, there, and everywhere over the past couple of days and weeks, covering new features, new gameplay elements, and showcasing some new cars and some more of the map. And well, today I thought I would compile all of that information into this video. And side note, we also need to talk about some things that I didn't want to talk about Forza Horizon 6, but I feel like we have to. But we'll get to that in a sec. Real quick though, before we get too far into this video, I just wanted to start this video off by saying a quick thank you to each and every one of you who checked out my previous FH6 gameplay video. Those videos now have amassed over 5 million impressions, which is just mind-blowing. So thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Fun fact, a little while ago, I said I would go out and buy a JDM car to celebrate reaching 2 million subscribers here on the channel, and that's becoming more and more realistic every single day, which is crazy, but it's something I need to start planning for. So, I mean, if you have any suggestions or want to nominate some fun cars, I don't know, let me know in the comments. We'll come back to that later. Anyways, that's not the point of this video. Let's jump into all of the new Forza Horizon 6 details, and let's start it up with my favorite one. Forza Horizon 6 is getting cross-save. Cross-save is the ability for you to keep your save and play your save regardless of what platform you're playing on. Let me explain it like this. If you decide to play Forza Horizon 6 on day one on the Xbox, for example, and you unlock all your cars, you fill your garage up, and you buy houses and level up and all of that, if you decide at any point in the future to switch over to the PC version or the PS5 version when that eventually releases, you will keep everything you have unlocked and bought and everything. Little disclaimer, Forza Horizon 5 actually already has cross-save, but it only works between the Xbox and like the Windows Store version of Forza Horizon 5. For Forza Horizon 6, it doesn't matter where you're playing or what platform you're playing on, cross-save is there. It's a really, really cool feature that basically just means you won't need to restart your profile if you decide to switch platforms, which is lovely. You love to see it. Anyways, let's move away from that though and talk about the other thing that I'm super excited for Forza Horizon 6, and that's the event lab. You might remember back in Developer Direct, the developers announced collaboration inside of the event lab. So you and I, for example, can go and make a map together. You can design the whole track, I can place all the props and make it look pretty, and we can basically collaborate on a map together and build it at the same time, working on it together. Super cool feature. The developers did say, though, there are 2 areas where collabs will not be a thing. Area number 1 is the estate. The estate's a special area in Forza Horizon 6 you unlock at some point in the game. That area is unique for you, and you have to go in and build it as you see fit. If you just want it to be a big open field, you can do that. If you want to turn it into a mega house or a mega garage, you can do that as well. However, everything you build there is done in solo. And the other area that's solo is the garages. For those of you who don't know, every house you decide to buy in Forza Horizon 6 comes with a garage, and those garages are customizable. You can build them up as you see fit using essentially the event lab. When you're designing your garages, you also won't be able to invite people over and like use collab event lab. Those are only available in solo as well. Everything else though is completely up to you and your friends to customize and build as you see fit. If you want to start a race at the drag strip and build it out with your friends with ramps and jumps and loop-de-loops, you can do that. If you want to design a mega mansion on the coast, you can do that with your friends, without your friends, whatever you want. The only 2 areas where there is no collab is the estate and the garages. However, on the topic of custom garages, I guess the developers figured out that people are going to go visit other people's garages and check them out and explore them. Like, I can invite you over to my garage, I can go visit Geet's garage or whoever's garage and check them out and see what they decided to do with that space. And as it turns out, if you go to somebody's garage and you really like their build, you can actually download it and import it to your garage. So you can like copy their garage layout, which is really cool. Unfortunately, we don't have any like footage of this or anything just yet. We don't know exactly how it's going to work. I would imagine players have to like offer up their garages like with a share code or something like that. Don't know how it's going to work, but It's a very cool feature that the developers have said is coming to the game. Now, real quick, since we're talking about these garages, I very quickly wanted to pivot to car meets because there was recently some interesting news shared about those, and get your tinfoil hats on. The developers recently put out an article over on their website where they were highlighting some of the top features coming to Forza Horizon 6. And they included this very interesting line that got me thinking. I'm going to read it word for word. Car meets are places that you can show off your cars and characters, download tunes and liveries, and even buy a copy of the incredible cars that you see. Characters? Whoa. So, in full disclosure, back before Forza Horizon 6 was even announced, I've had this running theory that I think in Forza Horizon 6, you would be able to get out of your cars and walk around certain key locations. I primarily been predicting that it's going to be limited to like garages and these car meets, and based off this wording, maybe? Again, unfortunately, the developers haven't showcased any footage of how car meets actually work. If you can get out of your car and walk around these car meets and see other people's characters and their cars, obviously. But based off this wording, show off your cars and your characters. That's a very, like, specific wording that was thrown in there, and I don't think it's an accident. Like, real talk, unless your dude's just doing, like, a Paul Walker sitting on his car's hood, I don't see how that could be anything else. Like, that just... kind of makes sense. Regardless, it's going to be something we're going to need to wait for the developers to announce or confirm at some point in the future, but that sounds very, very exciting. Actually, I guess since we're talking about kind of areas of the map, we should probably talk about the map itself. And last week, the developers bombarded us online with new video of Forza Horizon 6, specifically showcasing key locations scattered all around Japan. We've got some beautiful, lush greenery and kind of these rolling hill biomes, followed up by this beautiful, breathtaking cherry blossom. Almost, I guess it's not a biome, I guess it's just kind of a small area of the map, I'm not sure. And then you've also got this last one that just blew my mind. It's the Alpine region of Japan that has permanent snow on it. What I can only imagine was a monster snowstorm that rolled on in here. Does anybody else get incredible, like, Blizzard Mountain vibes, or is it just me? And I guess regarding certain locations you can spot scattered all around the map, I wanted to call out some specific ones, like this quick little, I guess it's a hint of the stadium in Forza Horizon 6. This is the only footage of this area of the map we have right now, so it's a little bit difficult to tell exactly what it is. But if you ask me, that looks like a version of the stadium we have in FH5, modernized for Japan, and it looks lovely. Obviously, in FH5, the developers spent a whole bunch of time working on, like, world events for the stadium. Whether they transformed it into a racetrack, or into a maze, or even into a drift circuit, there was a whole bunch of stuff going on at the stadium in FH5, and I imagine, based off this small hint, we're probably going to see the same in FH6 as well. One of my absolute favorite shots in this new footage, though, was this footage of that time attack circuit that we saw earlier in, like, the developer direct footage. But you now get, like, this aerial drone shot of it, and it looks insane. Can we also very quickly call out the absolutely mind-blowing just verticality of this map? The amounts of ups and downs and just height differences between roads is insane. One thing I think that's going to be really interesting for this map, so the developers have already said the FH6 map is the biggest map they've ever made. They haven't given us an exact size just yet, but based off the fact of how just vertical this map is, this map will feel so much bigger than what we had in FH5 because it's just going to take you longer to drive from one side of the map to the other side. Because of all those ups and downs, it's going to slow your car down. And what might have been a 10-minute drive in FH5 might be a 15-minute drive, 17-minute drive. We don't know yet. But it's very cool to see all of this verticality and how much kind of little details the developers scattered in. Actually, on the topic of new videos, the developers also dropped one other new video last week, and that was actually showcasing another new car coming to Forza Horizon 6. And that's this, the 2020 Audi R8 V10. Fun fact, back in Developer Direct, the developers didn't announce any Audis coming to the game. This is the first Audi confirmed for Forza Horizon 6, and it's actually a new car for Forza Horizon. This car was never in Forza Horizon 5. It was in Forza Motorsport, where it had a couple of upgrades, nothing too crazy, like no wide body kit. We might see something like that in Forza Horizon 6. We don't know just yet, though. I wanted to mention that car specifically, though, because back in Developer Direct, the developers also didn't reveal a single Subaru during any of that gameplay or the trailers or screenshots or anything like that. And I saw a lot of people up in arms going, Subaru, where? Audi wasn't there either, and they're there now. I would imagine Subaru won't be followed too far behind. And last but not least, the final feature I wanted to talk about in this video is used cars in Forza Horizon 6. Yes, it will feature used cars. Well, the developers don't call them used cars. They call them aftermarket cars. And they say you can save money buying these ultra rare modified vehicles that you can find on the side of the road. For example, that Mazda MX-5 with the crazy hood, or like lack of hood, hole in the hood, that is one of these cars. It also happens to be a Forza edition car. But fun fact, the developers also announced that you can test drive these cars. So you can roll up, find these cars on the side of the road, and I guess engage with them in some way and do a test drive of them, which is really cool. We've kind of never had that in a Forza game, which is weird, but it's now a thing. Now, here's the thing. If all you care about is new information about Forza Horizon 6, that's great. Thanks for watching. That's all the new news we have for Forza Horizon 6 right now. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully, it's not too far away and the developers drop some new gameplay or tell us about some of these new features in more detail, but we'll need to wait. Until then, though, I wanted to address the elephant in the room. We need to talk about fake news and Forza Horizon 6. It was recently brought to my attention that there are tons of accounts online just blatantly making things up about Forza Horizon 6 and getting people's expectations up regarding certain features that are just not true, that are just made up by these people. I don't really want to spend too much time talking about this. I don't enjoy talking about this, but I feel like it's partly my responsibility with a loud voice in the community to kind of set the record straight. So let's very quickly talk about this. There are numerous accounts on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube Shorts that are making videos about Forza Horizon 6, talking about features that are not in the game. The big two that I've seen online, a whole bunch, just getting a disgusting amount of views online, revolve around fuel stations and how your cars will use fuel and you have to go to fuel stations to refuel your cars, and you can even drive through fuel stations to repair your car. All of that is fake. None of it's real. And the other one is regarding car meets, and people have just made up fake rumors how you can go to car meets and get in a car and be a passenger princess as somebody else drives you around in their car. That's also not real. Here's the problem, right? These people making these videos, call me naive. Maybe I'm trying to see the best in people. Maybe these people making these videos are just misinformed about Forza Horizon 6 and sharing this information by mistake. Maybe they're using AI to script up these videos, probably most likely, and the AI's hallucinating about all of these features, or maybe these accounts are purposefully misleading people. I don't know. I don't care what the reason is. My problem stems from these accounts sharing this information, potentially influencing people who may not be, you and I, for example, who may not be up to date with everything Forza Horizon 6 related, and casually scrolls past one of these videos, is then influenced to purchase the game because of said feature. Like, if you're like little Timmy who may not know everything about FH6 and sees, oh, cool, there's fuel stations and passenger princess mode in the game, and then you buy the game because of that, and then those things aren't actually in the game, that sucks. And that just leaves a bad taste in their mouth. And I don't want that for these people. And that bothers me. I've also seen people just making full dedicated videos on YouTube about fake leaked cars coming to Forza Horizon 6. Disclaimer, there are no leaked cars regarding Forza Horizon 6. And again, it just sucks if little Timmy and little Jimmy see one of their favorite cars in one of these leaked car lists and then go out and buy the game because of that. That sucks. That you've ruined their experience, and it bothers me to no end. That's not fair to the developers. That's not fair to the person buying this game. I'm sorry for having a bit of a rant at the end of this video, but I had to mention it because it's been bothering me to no end. I don't know if the developers can do anything about these accounts that are sharing all of this fake information, but I hope they crack down on it, because it just gives certain players a bad taste in their mouth when they eventually jump into the game, and their thing that they were influenced to buy the game because of isn't there. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be back with some more Forza Horizon 6 news, hopefully sooner rather than later, and hopefully the developers give us some more information, some more gameplay and stuff like that. I'm very much looking forward to it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.